This is Story Route Zero, a podcast where friends gather to talk of their travels through the good, the bad, the ugly, the funny, and even the confusing worlds encountered in games. We may not always know where we're going, but that's often half the fun. Do you have a question, comment, concern, or a story of your own? Hit us up on Twitter at storyroute_0. You can email us at storyroute0@gmail.com, and you can find everything we do at storyroute0.com. Let's have a journey. The businessmen will shake hands and talk in numbers, and the princess will wake from her slumber. Then all the knights will step forth with their armbands, and every stranger you meet in the street will make demands. So to believe no lies, dry your eyes, and realize that surprise. It's Story Route Zero, episode, what is this, 18?
Yeah.
Are we legal now?
Yep.
We are legal now.
Yeah.
My name is Matthew Keel. I am legal alongside my three glorious co-hosts. Legally from Canada, Matt Phillips. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm well. And he won't legally accept being a Southerner. Moose Cool, how are you?
He is giving the finger for those listening on the audio version. What finger? Leaves to your imagination.
The foobar finger. And that voice, legally from New Jersey, but he'll tell you he's from New York, Jason Marshall.
Hello, Areno.
What?
Hello, Areno.
Hello, Arena. What you say who we do a show.
Oh, jeez. These bleep holes.
It's Game Club week. We are doing Thimbleweed Park as announced and promised. But before that, how was everybody's weekend? Moose, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up. Let the record show. Jason Phillips, what'd you guys do this weekend?
I realized I've never been in a fast car. That's what I realized this weekend. That was pretty much the whole weekend. Like that was
Like, are we talking you've never, like...
Well, I'll set the scene. So I was on the highway, and there was a collision in the right lane, so only one lane was going through. And you know how as soon as everyone's done rubbernecking, everyone gets up to highway speed.
Yeah.
So those of us in our regular vehicles begin going on a highway speed, and this Porsche goes by us in a convertible orange. Guy's hair is flapping in the wind, and he just revs it, and he's just gone. And I was looking at it, and I was thinking, that looks like a lot of fun. And it made me realize I've never been in a fast car, and that's something I'd like to experience at some point in my life in a safe environment on a track or something. And that was my weekend.
Well, here's what we'll do.
I feel like we should have had Tracy Chapman playing underneath that just for really.
You could come down here to North Carolina, and we'll go do some brewery tours, and I'll sign you up for the racetrack here.
I feel
in
like
Charlotte.
The order of that should be reversed.
Yeah.
Well, nobody said it was the same day. I would assume you'd be down for like a long weekend. Jesus, man. But you don't drive.
You don't know how
you just
do
sit
things
in the car.
South.
But they basically get it up to, I think, 130, 140 as you go around. It's not max speed. They restrict it, but you can do the NASCAR experience where you can ride with a driver and they just do like 5 or 6 laps and you're done.
I think it would be cool. You know, I'm not like, I love cars, but not enough to purchase a very nice one. You know what I mean? Like I appreciate them is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But you know, I think they're great. I love going to the auto show and seeing them and stuff like that. But seeing that Porsche drive by was pretty fun. And
that's like me and motorcycles. I like motorcycles and I admire motorcycles, but I don't think I'd ever buy one and drive one just because I'm too dangerous to be driving on 2 wheels. I need 4.
Well, I romanticize the idea of taking a motorcycle and going across country like Easy Rider style, but then like I went into healthcare and I see what happens on motorcycles, and
yes.
no, and
Yep,
no.
Yeah, my dad did that, and he got to California, and I think he was driving a Victory bike, and
Mhm.
it broke down on him, and my grandmother had to wire him money so that he could pay for a bus ticket back. So I was like, man, that sucks, but he
Yeah.
had a good time.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a cool idea. Jason, what'd you do this weekend? Anything?
I got another review published.
Congratulations,
Thank you. Arafel,
RFL.
SNES style RPG.
I
It's
think
available on Steam, PS4, and Switch.
we were talking about that a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
in
when I
chat.
started it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
RPGs
was
are a
it?
little difficult to review because of the length. You can't just
Mhm.
power through it, really.
Right.
It's good. I definitely recommend it if you like that style of like the 16-bit, the golden age SNES RPGs.
Mm-hmm. All right.
That review's up on obelisk.co.
Cool. Moose, how was your weekend? What'd you do?
It was good. I did some lawn care, and then I did some Animal Crossing lawn care. So, it was
Lawn
a good
care and then
Jesus.
island care.
Yeah, so it was a good weekend. Also played some Division 2 with Alan and Muffins. It's been a while since him and I played, so we were playing, and that was a lot of fun, just shooting stuff and running around. But then like it was also nice just relaxing, playing it. I think almost all day Sunday I played Animal Crossing till the afternoon, till I fired up
Nice.
Division 2. So it was just chill. Went to a couple islands, so now I'm just waiting for the stock market to turn around. And Jeff's saying that he's supposedly going to have 500, like the prices for his turnips are going to be 500 tomorrow. So if they are, I'm going to go sell for an insane profit and then buy my next expansion on my house. But other than that, it was good.
He says
Cool.
Animal Crossing's relaxing. Tomorrow's update introduces murder hornets.
There's already wasps in the game, and I have medicine, and it doesn't matter. By the time you could get, statistically, I could get stung again, which sends you back to your house. Like, I'd be done playing the game in the day. So, but all right, I know the whole trick to not getting the wasp, getting stung by the wasp. So it's all good.
I mean, I just keep my net out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can, keep the net out and hit the tree from an angle, so you could just, all you have to do is hit the button, and you'll swipe them, and you're done.
Cool. I spun a lot of records this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was your favorite record that you spun this weekend? Or
Well, I mean,
let's put it this way.
I mean, if I were to put the records I spun like within my overall ranking.
No, stop.
Okay.
You're going too long on this.
Okay.
You were stuck on your island in Animal Crossing, and you take one of the records that you spun this weekend. Which one is it?
Oh,
you have 15 seconds to decide.
Van Morrison's Astro Weeks, hands down.
Okay, see, there we go. See, that's all I needed. I love you, man, but I'm like, we don't have. I'm sure there was a lot of good music.
Yeah, well, I mean,
echoing throughout your household, but
mostly because like I've been sort of going through his catalog again, and I try and get from the mid '70s onward, and nothing is really interesting from him beyond that. But
so you think all his best stuff was in the '70s?
Well,
earlier?
I mean, he's an interesting case because he came from the British invasion group Them, and they had their hit Gloria and Here Comes the Night. And they were kind of on like a steep upward trajectory. Like they were probably this close from blowing up, and then he left. He made probably one of the more timeless rock songs of all time in Brown Eyed Girl. And then he took a severe and sharp left turn into Astro Weeks. And then he just decided to be one of the best songwriters ever for like the next 7 to 9 albums. I don't remember how many are in that run, but like from Astro Weeks to Veed Fleece, there's more there than in probably any artist in the last 25 years' career, and then some. But yeah, Van Morrison's really cool. Also got some dance on. I got some metal on. Listen to Leviathan again because you got to. But that's not why we're here. We are here for our second installment of our game club, and we are talking about 2017's Thimbleweed Park, a point-and-click adventure from Terrible Toy Box, written by Ron Gilbert of Maniac Mansion fame, and Gary Winnick, I think is the other guy. It is self-published. I believe it was funded on Kickstarter.
Yep.
Jason, what do you say we go to Game Club?
Story Round Zero Game Club. Spoiler warning. Hot takes. Bad takes. Much discussion.
That's right. It's Game Club time here on Story Route Zero. We've played a game. We've beat a game. Now let's talk about it. Okay, so before we get into it, we should probably talk about the mechanics of this game. This is a traditional ass point and click adventure game. And by traditional, I mean in the bottom left of the screen, you have a choice of 8 options, and you have to drag to one of those, then drag to what you're going to interact with, and then move it to where you're going to actually put everything together. Very much in the style of Maniac Mansion and Day of the Tentacle for sure. I don't remember if Grim Fandango and Full Throttle had that, but Phillips, you could probably enlighten the panel better.
Grim. Oh man, does Grim have items? It's been a couple of years since I played Grim. I think it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite the same way. Like you have an inventory the same way you'd have an inventory in Day of the Tentacle.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but this is definitely like using archaic tools, but still managing to do a very modern thing with it, despite this game looks like it was made in the 80s.
Yeah,
and I think that's part of its charm.
Yep.
So how far did everybody get?
I finished it.
Okay, because I beat it. I platinumed it.
I did not beat it because I did not like this game.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's the game and
Or your
more the-
face.
Really, dickhead?
Jason's broken.
I think it's the genre.
Okay.
I think I'm probably broken because I don't like point and click.
Okay. All right. So
I'll say that I did enjoy some of the dialogue. I thought was pretty hilarious,
mhm.
but I think the stop and go nature of the point, click, 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 point again, kind of.
Who knew? Did point and click not tip you off?
I'm actually curious if the console version simplified that at all. Like I played the PC version. Like,
Okay.
did it make it easier? I mean, we can go into that with the mechanics, but
Well, before we get there, so we'll go around the panel. How would you describe this game? Jason, you didn't beat it, so I'm gonna kind of leave you out of this one. I'm gonna start with Philip because I know he was the first to beat it.
I think that this is hardly an original take on it, but what a lot of people had said was that if X-Files and Twin Peaks had a baby and that baby was a point and click adventure game, it would be this.
Yeah.
And, like, to me, that's what it is. It's a very traditional 80s point and click. This is what I grew up playing. So starting with Maniac Mansion, it's exactly that kind of game. So, I mean, if you're looking for a more modern adventure, even some of the later LucasArts like Day of the Tentacle or the Monkey Island games, Full Throttle, like it predates all of those in style. I don't think it feels dated because I think that the style it's in is kind of timeless. Like you could pop in Mario 1 today and it just feels timeless. So for me, it's very much rooted in the 80s, but it doesn't feel old, I guess.
Yeah. Now, to answer your question about the console, like the console really doesn't. If you had issues doing that on the PC, you're gonna have the same issues doing it with a DualShock. But on top of you not really caring for it, like I can almost 100% say that if I hadn't played this on PS4, I would not have gone back for the platinum. Which contrasts, my thoughts on our last Game Club game, where I'm still sort of playing it for the platinum today.
Oh, so you're saying if you played PC, you wouldn't pick it up?
Like if I had played it on Switch, I would be like, okay, I'm good. Like I'm good. I'm out.
I mean, I got through. I think it's part 3.
Okay.
So I didn't just play part 1. I mean, I did give it a go. I was interested, but it just, yeah, I know. I knew it was point and click, and I've never really played it. They just never appealed to me. But it wasn't like I've played point and click. I'm like, no, I don't like them. I was like, I'm open to. Plus, I did that review on a point and click puzzler, so I was like, maybe I'll.
Yeah. I think that's the cool thing about doing the Game Club is like we're gonna get stuff that we either don't have much of a reference for or it's not in our comfort zone. So hopefully we can find fun in that, or sometimes it could be just a dud. Moose.
Yes.
How would you describe this game?
I think Matt hit the nail on the head with the whole Twin Peaks and X-Files crossover, kind of baby. I also think I've tried playing Grim Fandango. I've tried playing Full Throttle. I am almost in the same boat. I've got a foot in the boat where Jason is, where I don't like point and clicks, but I've got a foot in a boat where it's like I really enjoyed this one. You know what I mean? I thought it was a little more accessible than Grim Fandango and Full Throttle War. I just I don't know. I would say if you're looking for a point and click to try out to get into the genre, if you're like, I've seen that genre, but I've never played anything in it, Thimbleweed Park is a good play. It's got a great, it's got a good story. great characters, great sense of humor, and I just think my description, I guess, would be an accessible point and click with a nice X-Files, Twin Peaks twist to its narrative, or twists and turns.
I think you're right with it being accessible because there's no fail state, right? Like you can't die.
Not true.
What, you died? Where?
Oh man. Well, it's about midway through when you are in. It's her uncle's workshop.
Yes.
Is his name Chuck? I think.
Chuck.
Yeah.
You're in his workshop, and there's a special device you can click on that nukes the town.
Oh well, okay. So the red button. Yeah, you push the red button.
But you're.
I mean,
that's a little different though.
Sure. Like you don't end up walking down a permanent dead end. Yes, you're right.
Did you not laugh when you did that?
Oh, of course I laughed. Moose I was in a party with Moose. I'm like, I just died.
Yeah.
Moose is like, wait, you could die? I'm like, yeah, I did it.
That's
the
only.
only. Go ahead, Matt.
That's the only way you could die in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were like neck and neck. I was a little bit ahead of him, and then I think I had to do some work, like actual work.
Yeah.
And then like when I came back, he got ahead of me, and that's when he like blew things up, and I was just like, oh shit. Or well, he said you could die. That's all he said.
Mhm.
Didn't say why, which was great, because he's not trying to spoil things. He's not a dickhead like some people out there. Not directed at anyone in this panel, but some people are just like, oh well, you could die by blowing up the town. It's like, well, thanks for spoiling that, buddy. But anyways, spoilers to the people listening to this.
Well, luckily the intro to this says spoiler warning.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So how do you think it's best we tackle this overall, gentlemen? Does anyone have like you want to just start at the beginning and do a little setup, or do we want to just go into it?
I mean, we can go part by part if you want.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I could go for that.
Well, it opens on a pathway, and you see a man walking towards a gate with another man who is, I mean, it's a homeless guy. I don't remember if he's actually drinking there, but then you hear the man walking speak in a German accent about this is where the letter from his hotel told him to go. So he goes, and he is essentially murdered.
He's definitely murdered.
Yeah, essentially, yeah, he is. He's. I mean, it's pretty because you spend the next rest of this game walking back to his body that no one ever really takes care of, which is fucking Twin Peaks ass shit.
It's just laying there, just doing whatever it wants to do.
And he's not even like they lean into it's a video game, like far enough that it's like right at the point where it's too much.
Yeah,
because even like Reyes and Ray, the two main detectives, they're like say, oh, you could tell he's been here by how pixelated he is.
Yes.
Which is,
yeah.
I'm just like, wait a minute, what's going? I mean, and that was kind of my first clue. It didn't really register until right before like a big reveal we'll get into later. So for the platinum, you had to play on easy and on hard. How did you play this, Phil?
Just on hard.
Just on hard? Okay. So you had to basically do all the puzzles. So, all right. Which is fine. And I think that's what I liked about this, going back through on easy, like it made a lot of the super archaic stuff was sort of eliminated by easy mode, which I found refreshing the second time through. If I had gone that way the first time through, I probably would feel like there was a bunch of story holes.
Yeah.
So once you actually get the man's name later on. I don't remember. I think it's Boris something. But you get his name later on. But once the two detectives, feds as they're referred to throughout the game, once you get that control of them, they start going through the town, and the first person you meet is the sheriff.
Sheriff-erino.
Sheriff-erino.
The Fed-erinos doing their investigation of who.
Yeah.
They, I found it annoying at first. The way that the sheriff speaks, but I eventually developed like an affectation for it when you realize that there's multiples of him.
Like when they see the coroner, aren't you
Yeah.
the Sheriff-erinos?
Yeah, they lean in. They're like, "Aren't you the sheriff-erino?" We get that a lot.
I get that a lot, but
I like when you're. It doesn't happen all the time, but like when you're in the morgue, like you can see him peeking out from the side of the screen. I don't know if any of you guys had that.
I saw that. I'm like, because I tried looking for him.
Yeah.
I'm
I
like,
went and looked for him after. I was like, no, you can't. And then I would try to recreate it, but I couldn't. So I was like, I don't know if it just did it one time or if it's just random, but I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I'm like, why is he here? Go away, fucking weirdo. So, and I'm trying to remember all of the objectives for part one because I do not have them in front of me. But
part one goes really fast.
Yeah, part one is really you meet the sheriff. You learn about all of the high-tech machinery.
The Arrestatron.
The Bloodatron, the Fingertron.
Yeah.
And
Which is
the Arrestron 3000.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what was the other one? The Phototron?
Yeah, so you could upload pictures to.
Yeah.
I think there's a Videotron too, right? Isn't there like a video rental machine or something?
Yes.
Outside of the
outside of the Quickie Pal, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we completely missed the pigeons. As you're walking to town,
Pigeon Brothers.
You see these two people, adults, dressed as pigeons, next to a van with the big logo Pigeon Brothers on them. It just says Pigeon Brothers. I don't think it really goes into what they do. And they keep talking to you about the signals. And there's something really weird about two adult human-sized pigeons talking to you about the signals. The signals are weird tonight. And it's definitely like going for that Twin Peaks sort of absurdity, and makes it seem necessary, but it might not be. So Phillips, because I'll say Phillips and Moose. How much did you guys exhaust all the dialogue as you were going through the game?
Yeah, that's how I play games. That's
sure.
I like to see what they've done. I like to sometimes there'll be some small little throwaway line that kind of makes the game for me. Well, not makes the game for me, but like means a lot to me. So I do try and exhaust. I try and exhaust all the options and look at every corner, go to every area. I was looking through the library, looking at all the books. And,
I did that too.
But yeah, I did exhaust all the dialogue options.
Because like I did that for this, and I'm like, I don't know what any of this means. Like, and granted, it's the beginning of an adventure game, so you're probably not supposed to. But
yeah, I mean, as a rookie, I exhausted it because there's never really objective complete state. Move
Yeah.
on. Like you could keep talking until like it doesn't say, oh, okay. Like it's not like it appears up top like, oh, talk to pigeons about murder, and then it says
Mhm.
completed. Like you just keep I mean, I did it too, and like I did like how one of the options was almost always the obvious what we're thinking. Like
Right.
why are the Pigeon Brothers two women? Like
Yeah.
I thought that like why are they called Pigeon Brothers? And like he goes, why are you Pigeon Brothers?
Yeah.
Like he would literally ask the question.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, all right.
Yeah. So we got Pigeon Brothers, we got Sheriff, Coroner. They're the same person.
I like Skyrim. I picked up everything at first. Like literally anything I come across.
Oh
pick up,
yeah.
Pick up.
Yeah,
Pick
no,
up.
definitely.
Pick up.
Oh yeah. I had a ridiculously full inventory to the point where I realized that 2 different things needed to be at different places. So all of a sudden I'm using, well, you eventually get the map and you can fast travel with it, but I'm eventually moving everybody around the map, trying to get everything where it needs to be. But that's for later. What else is in part 1? I don't think anything else is in part 1, is there?
No, after you get on the trail, you walk by the Pigeon Brothers, and then you're in town.
Yeah, then you're in town.
Then you go see the sheriff and the coroner, and then
I think that
you-
ends part 1.
no, you go up the hill, and then you don't have the map, and then that ends.
The vista.
Okay.
You go towards the.
You go to the
Okay.
Vista, the sheriff stops you, then you go
He's
back,
like,
and then
you
you go.
can't go exploring without a proper
need-
map, and it's like, what are you
need
talking about?
Yeah, you need a map, and then after that next scene, it goes to Dolores.
Okay. So, well, then that is, so as you walk out of City Hall, then you see the Pigeon Brothers working on the street light.
Hydrant, isn't it? Oh no, is it the hydrant or the?
Oh
light?
yeah, they're working under a street light on a hydrant, and then you need to go to a cake store of all places to get a vacuum tube. That, for those wondering why that sentence makes sense, Ricky's Cakes used to be a cake store, but they never changed the sign, so now they just sell vacuum tubes. So you get the vacuum tube for the hydrant, give it to the Pigeon Brothers, and now you can walk down that side street, which I believe is where the post office and the newspaper are too.
And the post office, the newspaper, and what's at the end?
The bus station.
That's right.
Yeah, you take Reyes to the bus station, and what's her face?
Lady in the evening.
The lady of the evening decides she could easily forget her wedding vows.
Mhm, mhm.
I like how one of the first choices for almost every conversation. What do you know about the dead body? Doesn't even like sugarcoat it. What do you know about the dead body? What do you...
But then you eventually find out that this lady of the evening is actually one of it's Chuck's kids, yes?
Yes,
And then
the system. Yeah.
yeah, it's
The
one of
sister.
Chuck's
There
kids.
was only a brother and a sister, right?
Yes. And after this dialogue, you get to a flashback where you meet the other sister, Dolores. And she has a lifelong dream to become a game developer for Mucus Phlegm Games, I think is what it's called.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which is in no way, shape, or form a reference to anything or any sort of real adventure game maker.
No.
Not at all. No, can't be, right?
Not, I couldn't think of any.
Yeah, I mean, there's no, you can, yeah, that doesn't resemble anything. Anyway, she wants to become a game developer, and you have to help her fill out the application. And this is it? Well, this is where I started to notice like the differences between playthroughs. Like there's not necessarily randomness, but there's like procedural generation where you had to be taking notes. So I was trying to answer the questions for the application, just like cycling through them, and then I realized that was a bad way to do it. So, and this is how I found the library. I'm like, there has to be a clue here somewhere. So I went to the library and I started looking at books, and I must have looked at like 200 to 300 different books before I found there was a particular book that I found that had like all the answers in it. I don't remember what it was called. And I'm positive it's designed that way, but I ended up accidentally getting a trophy doing that. So you take those answers, you answer them for the application, because you have to get 100% for the application to go through. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. You have to
Okay.
get the whole thing right.
And then you do that, you and then you have to go through the rigmarole of getting ink for the printer, which you have to use fireplace soot, which was like, that was one of the things that just did not make sense. I don't remember how I came to that conclusion. I think I just tried it. It worked.
They'll usually give you an audible clue on how to proceed. There's also like a hint line that you can call it in the game, which I thought was funny.
Doesn't like everybody has like like the detectives have like their notepad. Dolores has her diary,
her sketchbook.
Yeah, like everybody's got something that kind of gives you hints as to like what has to be done, and like you get like a green check mark, as you're doing them. And so,
which good. Thank you for bringing that up. I was completely skipping that.
So it kind of helps you in a way to where it's not like, oh, you have to combine the mop with the bucket of water to make some glue, and it's like, what do you mean? What? Like what?
Yeah.
I've heard,
or like
point and click adventure games can get crazy like that.
There was there's notoriously there's the one of the opening puzzles in Grim Fandango where you have to put something in something, but it seems like so arbitrary that it's surprising that that's the thing that does it. I don't remember what exactly it is, but like that's super early in the game, where if they didn't have some sort of hint line, like I'm almost positive tons of people would not have finished that game. Unless they just sat there beating their heads against it. But yeah, the different little laundry lists that you have in the game definitely helped. But for being 1987, this woman's printer
is pretty futuristic.
It looks like something out of Terry Gilliam's Brazil, where it's arms, which is like, oh, hands will just fold the envelope right as it prints. I'm just like, man, it's so futuristic. I wish I had that in the 80s. So anyway, she sends the application, gets back, she's hired, and pisses off the family. And that is her flashback. And I know I tend to be doing most of the talking here. If any of you want to interrupt me, please do. If you have anything to like interject.
I think checking out the library was a lot of fun.
Me too.
Looking at the books in there, that was pretty cool. Like reading some of that stuff, and then so we didn't touch on this yet, but the game was a Kickstarter game, and so in the library there's a phone, and you could just pick up the phone book and start dialing numbers out of the phone. And what was nice is like they bolded the names that would actually have like a response. So you were basically getting people's answering machines.
Mhm.
Like you were getting like real life people that backed the
or
game,
or
which was
voice
pretty fun.
recorders from
Yeah,
voice
yeah.
recordings from people who back the game, which
There were some funny ones.
there were some of them
funny-
that really had fun with the idea.
Yeah, which was great, and so that was a lot of fun playing around with that.
Like there was
And
one
then-
that's like, I can't come to the phone right now because I'm currently a dog and don't have thumbs. I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. And then like Dolores's room was cool. Like having the what was it, Max Headroom? Like
Yeah,
they had the
Max Headroom
poster
posters.
and the Einstein poster where he's sticking his tongue out or whatever. And so
Mhm.
they had some that was pretty cool checking out the mansion and her room and the library. And like that library was insane. But
Yeah. What
was
what
a good
is it?
time.
What is Ron Gilbert's fascination with mansions?
I don't know.
I'm
I
just
mean,
saying.
Maybe he lives in one now and he's like,
Maybe.
see, this is what I was working for.
That
Self-actualization. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Okay, so after that, I think I went to the diner, and you get one of the most lovable asshole intros ever. You talk to, what's her name? I think her name is Sandy at the diner,
diner, yeah.
and you get your introduction to Ransom the Clown.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all of us know somebody named Gideon. And Ransom the Clown, if you ever wanted to know Gideon yourself, play Thimbleweed Park and just listen to Ransom the Clown talk to anyone about anything.
It's true. Like it's just his delivery too. Like just the way he says stuff. I was like, this is our friend Gideon.
Yeah.
When you,
Kind of personal connection for me. Like I really cared about him because I care about our friend. You know what I mean?
right.
Just like the introduction to Ransom is one of my favorite parts of the game.
Oh man.
Like where he's trying to rub the makeup off after.
Yeah.
So what everything he didn't curse, which I think this is one of those times where cursing doesn't happen, and I feel like it's better with the beeps.
Yeah.
Because
Because it's funnier. It's funnier. Yeah.
And he's Ransom the Insult Clown, and apparently he owes money to people at the carnival he works at because reasons. They don't really go into that, do they?
Well, he had the toy deal. After he gets cursed, like he loses the toy deal.
No, before that though. But like when you have to pay off the other guy for his joke book.
Oh, I can't remember. He must have just owed him.
Yeah, I think he just owed him
It's
money.
just implied that it's part of.
Yeah.
That's who Ransom is. He's
Yes.
and,
Of course he would owe money.
yes. Yeah. No, absolutely.
And so you pay him off. Did any of you push the mime over?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course I did.
Okay. This was another favorite thing of mine because every time you walk by that mime, he doesn't get up. He just stays there and curses at Ransom the entire time. Like I went back later in the game and he's still doing it.
Doesn't he have a French accent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I hate you, Ransom the Clown. It was so silly, but still on the side of delightful rather than annoying, because I feel like they with some of the jokes that they tried in this game, they land that high wire act between, honest to God funny or creating a smile and stupid, and they never really went to stupid. Which is impressive because a lot of that stuff can. So Ransom the Clown, he's an insult clown, and he has big things in the works. He has a potential toy deal, a mistress in Aspen at his mountain cabin, and all he has to do is go shit talks some of the rubes, as he says, in Thimbleweed Park.
Doesn't Gideon live in Colorado now?
I think he lives out west. He lives way out
He's
west.
in California somewhere.
Oh, okay.
But resort
There was
area.
I knew there was something with skiing and
he works he works on a resort, and skiing is involved, but I think the quarantine has affected him, so I don't really want to like make too much light of our buddy Gideon.
Yeah.
But so he shit talks the wrong Thimbleweedian, or the wrong Thimbleweed Parkian, and ends up cursed. And the minute he walks off stage, his agent comes, yeah, toy deal's done. You're being sued for breach. Your mistress has left you. Your wife is taking everything from you except the cabin in Aspen. And oh yeah, the cabin in Aspen has burned down.
Burnt to the ground.
And on top of the fact that he cannot get his makeup off and can't stop cursing, it's kind of funny to watch this guy just disintegrate. But then you can control him. And so now Ransom is walking around Thimbleweed Park with a balloon, dressed up as a clown in an outfit he cannot take off. And it is very difficult to take him seriously in any situation. The best part is when you're switching items between people and you give something to Ransom, his quips, perfect. Every time.
Yeah.
I think that wraps up. Is that part 1? And we still have like 8 more parts. I don't remember. I don't. Yeah. So.
Well, I think that's a couple parts. At least.
I think I kind of just lost the way in that.
Yeah,
sort of,
'cause
I'm not going to break this down by parts anymore. Let's.
Because I was gonna say I'm in like I went to part 3 and I didn't even get to Ransom. So
what? Oh man, you're missing out.
I almost finished Dolores. That was the.
Oh, okay.
But I'm saying you said part 1. I'm like, no, you're way beyond part 1.
Yeah, I think I lost it a long time ago. Oh well, whatever.
He's not just talking this episode, ladies and gentlemen.
Moose, you could take over.
Sure.
What happens next?
After Ransom, do you not take over the feds and go to the hotel? I think. Is that not next? Right.
I think that's next.
So basically,
Guess who we see again?
Good old Sheriff Reno.
No, my friend. He's the hotel clerk, Reno.
Oh, that's right. Wasn't he the one that goes anywho?
Yeah, he's the one managing the hotel who.
Yeah, that's it.
I think this should be Twin Peaks and X-Files in Fargo adjacent.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
All right, yeah.
Okay.
With their own touch of language.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that section's a lot of fun. The lobby is rather interesting, and talking to him is fun. And then
You're just saying that because there's an option. I'm just going to admire your interesting lobby.
Yeah. Well, no, it was interesting. It was like, what is this sculpture?
What is that giant monstrosity?
I'm like, what? I'm looking at it like, what? Yeah.
When you walk in, there's the news lady. She's there. She's like, oh, the feds are here too? And we're like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And we cannot forget there's a Comic-Con going on at the hotel. It is called ThimbleCon. And I think part of the objective this time out is to gain entrance.
You could, I guess.
I think. Well,
Right,
you had to.
Phillips?
Well, I think the first person you meet at the hotel is Franklin, isn't it? Like, is that
Oh yeah, it does the flashback
the beginning of Franklin?
because the news lady sets up the flashback of Franklin,
Mhm.
and he's trying to get out from under. He's trying to
Chuck.
repurpose Chuck's Pillowtronics factory for toys, and
Chucky don't like that.
no, Chucky doesn't like that. Chucky don't want none of that
Mm-mm.
because Chucky's weird. But I think and Chuck has basically wired the hotel. Like all of the hotel rooms have cameras.
Yeah,
So you have to use
facing the bed.
yeah, facing the bed. Yeah, no. Chuck's
I'm
not
like-
creepy at all.
How is this not video surveillance? Oh, we just
Figuring-
sent you a video of your good time at the hotel or Reno.
Right? Yeah, right.
Puzzle, like the puzzle to outsmart, I guess, the video surveillance is not a hard puzzle, but it was for me one of the more enjoyable, like one of the more satisfying puzzles. I don't know why I enjoyed everything about the hotel so much. Just the absurdity of it. You know,
Oh yeah.
you've got video cameras on the beds. You've got the one floor you can't go to at the beginning.
Yep.
You don't know why. Like you press penthouse and it just doesn't work. And at the time, you have no idea why it doesn't work. You know, you've got the sheriff, the mortician, he's there. So I don't know, just the absurdity of
All of it is above board. And let's not forget that kid in the lobby with the boombox.
Yeah, so yeah, he and Trick outsmarting him.
Yo, dude.
The way he did it was it's just all these jokes, they're stupid, right? But
Yeah.
it's the kind of humor that I think all of us enjoy.
I do think I know what the newest and latest is. I saw this man on MTV and he was all gnarly like.
Yeah, and just going through the game isn't hard.
No, it's not
hard. I think they all make sense. They all they all follow a certain logic pattern, right? And so getting through the lobby and getting to the room and getting outsmarting the puzzle and getting to your meeting or not getting to your meeting, I really enjoyed that arc. Like I enjoyed Franklin's arc a lot. Like I thought
I did too.
I thought it was kind of sad. Well, it was sad, right? But Franklin was maybe my favorite part of the game, other than Ransom.
Yeah,
I enjoyed Franklin's arc.
So question: what name did you check Franklin into the hotel under?
Frank Zappa.
Yeah,
good.
that's
good.
what I did too.
All right, good.
I think one of the other, wasn't Clint Eastwood one of the options?
Yeah, it's like there were two Franks. Both of them had like actual had actual like pop culture like references, and then I don't remember. I don't remember the third one. That was just not a Frank. But yeah, I picked Frank Zappa as well because it's nice to hear that homely voice going, yes, Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
And shortly after that, so describe the puzzle, Phillips.
Which one?
To outsmart the cameras.
So to outsmart the cameras. Oh man. So you have to. What do you have to do? You have to I think you go to like the one floor where he tells you there's no surveillance on that one floor.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, thank you. And basically, like, so remember that one part in Wayne's World where Chris Farley is the security guard and gives him all that useless information. And you're like, wow, pretty convenient for that security guard to give us all this. You gotta hope it pays off later. And that's what this whole game is, right? So they tell you, ninth floor has no surveillance, so don't go there. Like, oh, okay. So you go there, you get I think it's a brochure for the hotel rooms.
Yeah, there are two pictures.
Yeah, and you
There's
just have
like
to,
standard room and another room.
and you take that picture and you put it on the camera. I might be missing some steps there, but yeah, it's a stupid puzzle, but I enjoyed the process of going through it.
Mhm.
And because at the time you still don't know why there's one floor, the penthouse. When you press the penthouse, if you're in the elevator, it'll just send you to another floor. Like you can't go to the penthouse. You don't know why. So working up to all this, I loved this part. The hotel has a lot of good parts, because later on when you get into the con,
Mhm.
there's some fun stuff in there too.
Oh shit. Yeah. When you get into the con, that's a while still. So you outsmart I think you outsmart the security camera by using the gum that the kid gives you. You put it on the camera, and then you put the picture on the lens, and then it cuts to what I can only assume is Chuck going, "What was that?" Oh, everything's fine.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah.
And then Franklin's like, no reaction? Okay. So he calls his investors, says, you can come up now. And then he opens the door going, that was quick. And he's like, how did you know I was here? And then you just see him murdered.
Dead-erino.
Yeah. And he was murdered a who. Now he's dead-erino.
I wasn't expecting that when he gets killed.
Yeah, I wasn't either. I'm like,
No,
wow,
neither
quick.
did I. I thought something would happen to him like way later on or something or whatever.
Mhm.
I wasn't expecting him to die at that moment.
And then you end up controlling Franklin's ghost for the rest of the game. And the interesting subplot here, we'll just go into this because we're talking about how you can't get to the penthouse, is the other ghosts in the hotel show up and they start basically bossing you around.
Yeah. New ghost.
Yeah, new ghost. you need to scare two people with that water fountain. Meanwhile, the kid in the lobby who's been jamming out to pseudo bad synth pop for what seems like forever, he decides he's going to get like super thirsty every 5 seconds. So you just scare him twice. And then all of a sudden, I think his name is Virgil. He's like really pleased with you. Or he's like sarcastically pleased with you.
Right.
And then you end up talking to the other ghosts. You figure out that you can interact with everything by zapping it. And I think at this point, I don't think this is where you get to the penthouse. Not yet.
No, because you have to divert the girl who is preventing you from doing so.
Yeah. Clara?
I think it's Clara, yeah.
I think her name is Clara, and she's definitely from the 19th century.
Yeah.
And she's definitely from the South.
Do you know her, Moose?
Let the record show that Moose is flipping Phillips off.
So yeah, you have to distract Clara, and as I said earlier, the game will always have like audio cues on what to do next, and so you eventually learn that she wants to
watch a TV show.
She wants to watch a TV show, yeah, and there's a TV on the 9th floor, and you can find out her favorite show through dialogue, and you put that on, and it will distract her, and then you can finally make it up to the penthouse where the head ghost is
not happy to see you.
No, definitely not.
But he'll allow you to be there.
Yeah, and you go into this weird secret room off to the side,
where the at the very least we could say is occult shit happens in there.
You got the Necronomicon there. The Book of the Dead.
Neck to
Yeah, I was really hoping for an Army of Darkness reference there, but
But
something
sadly,
in the works.
it did not pass.
No. But again, if you don't like absurd premises, like you won't like this game. Like you really
No.
won't. It's ridiculous. But if you're able to just say, okay, this is a game. I know it doesn't make sense. It's you got ghosts and the
Giant pigeons.
and giant pigeons in a
The Fed-erinos. Was that what you were about to say? The Fed-erinos?
Yeah, the Fed-erinos. And like if you can accept that all these things exist within this world, you can have fun with it. And I think the ending, we'll get to that, but like the ending gets you to understand why all these things are so ridiculous. Right?
Well, but also like you end up finding out that these people might not be Fed-erinos.
Yeah.
I mean, I think instead of breaking it down like story beat by story beat, because like I'm starting to get foggy.
I am as well. So like we'll just go with what we remember.
But eventually you start working with the body again, and you get a sample of blood. You get fingerprints on the weapon.
Picture off of the body.
A picture off of the body, and in the victim's room, you get his passport.
Yep.
So you put all that into those 3 machines in the coroner's office, and then you can go to the Arrestotron 3000 and make an arrest, and you arrest the homeless guy. And immediately I'm like, this is not satisfying.
Well, I think did you like at the time? Did you feel that was the actual person? Like,
I mean, I thought it logically made sense because he's right there when what's his face wanders by him, but like also I felt like this feels like a cop out.
It's almost like watching a TV show and it's an hour long and they arrest the killer 10 minutes in. You're like, no, hold on. This
Like they show you a scene and this
All
is
right, I've seen enough Murder She Wrote to know this isn't the way it goes down.
Yeah.
Come on.
Angela Lansbury needs to come in here and set you all straight because this is no. Get him, Angela. But like I mean, there was enough, like, for lack of a better term, like cinematic evidence for it to be Willie. But like also I'm like, man, this doesn't seem satisfying. I mean, sure, he gives Ransom the Clown the bloody wallet, but like I'm gonna be 100% honest. If it were me and Willie's, I would have gone through the dead body's pockets too for some money.
Which one of us wouldn't have if we were in that situation? You
Exactly.
get the body, you get the wallet.
Exactly. And like that doesn't mean I killed the guy.
Right.
But I'm just like, man, I feel like this is a cop out, and I'm kind of glad that it ended up. Well, they don't really say it's not him. They don't really go into it not being him, but enough happens later on that it sort of realizes that, oh, that was a MacGuffin the entire time. So you arrest Willie, and then everything sort of wraps up. The Reyes and Ray take different buses, different ways. And then in the next chapter, they end up back in Thimbleweed Park wearing those stupid Groucho Marx glasses with a mustache to check into a hotel. The hotel. And then they meet each other and like, wait, what are you doing here? Wait, what are you doing here? And then you find out that like both of them have bullshit in their backstory that they have to sort of solve. And I feel like this is where you sort of learn that like Reyes is trying to redeem. It's his father, right?
Yeah, he's trying to figure out what happened with his dad because in the story the pillow factory burnt down, and they blamed it on the security guard. Well, his dad was the security guard,
Yeah.
and there's just like evidence against the fact that his dad had anything to do with it, and so it's just that's the reason he gets there. Because like when he first talks to Ray, the female Fed,
I'm from Albuquerque.
he's like, I'm from the home office in Albuquerque, and she's like, there's no home office in Albuquerque. And
It's
so
a need
like
to know.
he's like, it's a need to know, ma'am. And so you're almost like, well, maybe he's like watching her or something or whatever. And it just turns out that he wanted to be there to do this.
Yeah,
And just was trying to like cover his tracks, you know.
like I was waiting for him to be the killer. To be honest with you, I was waiting for that. I don't know why. I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, you get enough of a redeeming arc from him that
he's a nice guy.
not. I mean, I think the one thing is with this, all the main characters are lovable.
I agree with that statement.
In very strong degrees. Like Dolores is adorable in her like pursuit to like go outside the family business. Franklin is the one that they never really resolve. They just sort of leave him.
Yeah, I mean,
I know he died, but like he essentially like for the last 3 acts of the game, you basically leave him in that hotel room and he's just there.
Well, I mean, also given the ending of the game.
Sure. Like, I mean, yeah, all none of it matters.
Right. I mean, that's what I was trying to say. I'm like, really?
But,
I mean.
But so getting back, Reyes and Ray check into the hotel. They all have packages waiting. They both have packages waiting for them at the front desk. And you pick them up. Reyes gets his father's pocket watch, and Ray gets a special tool, which, if I remember correctly, it just looks like one of those grabbers from the 80s.
Yeah, it's weird. And she says, I won't need this till the end of the game.
Yeah, this is like, I won't need this till way later. And I'm like, it's a grabber. What are we grabbing? And then this is when
shamer.
I'm not here doing that. This is when you have to get into ThimbleCon. Mm-hmm. Dolores has to call the radio station that has been playing the same song over and over and over as some sort of hostile takeover.
Yeah. Taking over the airwaves.
Yeah, taking over the airwaves. I'm playing one song, and yet you have to somehow and when you get into ThimbleCon, you have to do a Ransom the Clown impersonation contest. That you don't win as Ransom the Clown.
I love that part. I love that you don't win the Ransom impersonation contest as Ransom.
Like that kind of reminds me of the stand-up that Lewis Black did, where NBC came to him to do a TV show,
mm-hmm. and
he didn't like. He wasn't him enough to get the part.
Yeah.
I guess it fell through later on, but like, he's like, they decided not to go with me, as the main actor on my own show.
And your parting gift is theremin music. Which,
yes.
All right. And you have to put theremin music on the radio station, so Willie will fix your dad's pocket. Will fix Rhea's dad's pocket watch.
Yes.
All of this makes sense. But I did skip a little bit over ThimbleCon. You do have to give sexy Captain Riker a burger.
Yeah, you gotta eat all the hot.
You have to eat all the hot dogs in the diner. And make everybody throw up.
Yeah, because you have to do it with one time with each character.
Yeah,
a certain amount of hot dogs there, and each character who eats one throws up, and so eventually you'll get to the point where they don't have any more hot dogs, and you're gonna have to have something else.
Yep, you give Sexy Riker a burger, he goes and throws up, and you take his watch tools to Willie, to get your dad's watch fixed.
Well, you got to break into his room and steal the. Don't you have to?
Yeah, you need the tools.
I thought he left him on the. I thought he left him on his.
No, you have to go.
Just
So
to,
you basically have to get him to eat the burger and get sick to go back to his room
Yes.
Mhm.
and use Franklin to figure out what floor he gets off on, and then figure out what room it is, and then break in that way with Ray or Reyes. Or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, I had to distract him on the way out. I had Franklin give him despair,
Yeah.
and then he started crying, and I got a trophy for making 4 people cry.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I think the trophies are pretty good in the game.
The trophies are pretty good in this game. But yeah, so you get your father's pocket watch, and now we basically hit the end of the game where we're going to the pillow factory.
Yeah, and I mean, so Reyes is there to clear his father's name.
Mm-hmm.
Ray is there because she has been hired to. You find out that she has been hired to get something from the pillow factory for like a Japanese company, I think, right?
Yep. I
Japanese
believe it's
German
AI.
company. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
she's stealing the AI out of the machines.
Ransom is there because he needs something from the office. I can't
He
remember.
needs the prototype for his doll.
That's right. So he needs the prototype for his doll. Dolores needs something from the office as well. So everyone converges on the pillow factory. Like, the same way that a lot of stuff happened at the hotel. It's all ramping up to everyone needs something from the pillow factory. So they've got to get to the pillow factory. And so, yeah, they all get to the pillow factory. Getting into the pillow factory was a cool... when you get into the pillow factory and everyone squeezes through the door, Ransom refuses because like the door's only like like a foot.
Yeah, I like how when you see all 4 of them pulling at the door, you see Ransom with these like extendo arms.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was like Ransom's doing go gadget arms.
Well, I also felt like he was kind of like he's like Gideon, but like he was also like the clown from It a little bit, Pennywise.
Yeah.
I don't know, just like
Gideon
that
was.
would be something ridiculous that creature would do, or that So
Yeah.
I enjoyed the scene where once you get into the pillow factory and they all kind of like gasp and the picture cuts black, and I think that the art in the game, if you're someone who doesn't like pixel art, again, probably won't appeal to you. I think that the art in the game, like what they did within that style, is really, really pretty. And so I felt that, again, I played all these games in the 80s and 90s. So going back to it now, I have a lot of nostalgia for it. And at the time when we saw something like when they go into the pillow factory and they see the AI or that big, huge swirling thing, when we played a lot of these games back in the day, to us, it looked like the way Uncharted 4, or something else looks, right? And
way more theater of the mind.
Yeah, and I can't remember what's that called, Mandela effect or Mandela syndrome, when you remember something completely differently from how it was. But so playing those games, when I walked in there, I really enjoyed that scene because I had a very personal kind of moment, because it made me remember playing a lot of these games back in the day. And like you walk in and you were always excited to get to the next stage to see what they'd done in the game. So I really enjoyed getting to the Pillow Factory, and I enjoyed the whole game, but the Pillow Factory was really cool. There's some good puzzles in there as well, and you find out that Uncle Chuck has been a bit of a bad boy.
Yeah,
not a bit. He's
well. See, before we get there, like I want to sort of dovetail on your nostalgia, because I found that scene when they all walk in and see the giant wheel or turbine or whatever it is. I found that scene to be done really well. Also, not necessarily because I played like these adventure games in the 80s, because I didn't. I played like, I probably could count the amount of adventure games I played on less than a full hand. But I feel like just I actually got it from watching just a ton of movies, where there's that moment where something is revealed and it almost doesn't matter how important or unimportant that revelation is to the story or the film, but they just did the gravitas right. And I think that particular scene is executed really, really well. And I do think that it's punctuated perfectly with a, Chuck, what did you do? And then you find out what Chuck did. Phillips, yes. I'm going to let you take it from here.
Well, Chuck has uploaded his consciousness into the Pilotronics computer.
Yes, he has.
And
he speaks
the horror of Dolores. Yeah,
each sentence on a new screen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, so you'll get to his office and there's a bank of TV screens. I think 9 screens, and he'll appear on the screens talking to you, and he'll appear on a different screen each time.
Mm-hmm. Or you'll see like 9 Chucks, and then after each sentence, a different one speaks. So you're just like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah.
Which I thought that was a cool little touch, rather than making all of them speak.
And he reveals that basically the game, you're in the Matrix.
Yes.
And Thimbleweed is a simulation,
mm-hmm.
and it's a game, and you've got to shut it down. But
yes,
that's when you're speaking to Chuck. But then the AI version, because he's kind of amalgamated with the AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember, and so
Lawnmower Man.
Was that
Lawnmower Man?
And so he's kind of amalgamated with the AI.
It's not the only sci-fi reference we're gonna get to here.
I really enjoy that. So there's a computer there, and there's the game he was developing, wasn't it? Wasn't the game he was developing or the game he liked is on the computer, and you have to.
Oh yeah.
So you have to crash that game. You have to figure out crash.
Yeah, it was like an old text game.
Yeah,
like an old school, like
it's
walk into a room.
It's text. It's adventure. I think.
It's Zork.
It's
basically Zork. Text-based, which I also played. It's a text-based adventure, and you have to figure out how to crash that game. I can't remember where you get the clue, but you find a clue that, like, if you follow a certain path, the game will crash, and then you can progress further into the Pilotronics factory, because the game crash shuts down all those ridiculous defenses.
All the grabbers.
It's set up to cease your progress deeper into the facility. And then you will eventually get to Chuck, where he tells you this. He tells you that the game is a simulation. Sorry, Thimbleweed Park is a simulation. And he gets you to think about all the things, like, when he's saying it, I was thinking, there's no way. They're probably trying to mess me up, right?
Yeah.
This is why there's no school in the town. Like, think about it.
Yeah, this is why
Dolores is the only kid.
Yeah, this is why there's only one house.
Yeah, there's no kids. Everything, the whole town is based around vacuum tubes.
Yeah.
So
like every shop is like closed.
Yeah.
So
I enjoyed that reveal, and just all the text options that you have. Like, you can be like, "No, you're crazy," or "Wow, you're right, Uncle Chuck." And eventually he'll tell you that you've got to shut down the computer.
Mm-hmm. And then when you do that, he starts singing "Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer due." which, if you don't know, that's from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Shutting down the computer, obviously, would delete everyone, but everyone gets to wrap up their arcs before you do that. You know, Franklin gets to talk to Dolores again. I thought that part was like very touching.
Me too.
And I don't know if it's just because I'm like, as a parent, thinking about it, but it was sad and funny. Like it was a sad part within like a funny game. But I enjoyed that. Like Ransom eventually has to apologize to the town and apologize to the woman who cursed him, and to lift his curse. Like everyone gets to resolve their arcs, but you guys have like one that you liked for that?
I did not let Ransom resolve his arc. I couldn't resist talking shit to the lady with the hairy mole again.
I did too.
and honestly, like I didn't start looking at a trophy guide until my second playthrough, and I was pretty fortunate to have gotten a crap ton of the trophies along the way. Although I will say I had a little bit of help. Moose taught me about the specks of dust one, where you could just reload. So I did that because I didn't want to have to do that. I didn't want to do another full playthrough. But I did not know that that you got a trophy for talking shit again. And I was glad that I did, because I couldn't resist. I'm like, what? Because I sat there going, what would Ransom do here?
He'd shit talk to people and
Ransom would
screw himself over again.
100% shit talk this lady again. And I'm glad I did it. No regrets.
Hey kid, nice crappy wheelchair. Like,
oh God. Yeah, he Ransom, you deserved it. Love you, but you deserved it. And then how did Reyes and Ray resolve their arcs? I don't remember how that played out.
Well, you get the evidence that his father didn't start the fire.
Okay.
Because I think you find out that the AI set the fire. Like the AI burned down, because Chuck has created this AI and is obsessed with if I just get a couple more vacuum tubes in there, I'll get a better AI. And
yeah, exactly.
So the AI is really what you have to shut down, because the AI has taken over, and the AI is the one that set the fire at the factory. Because I think they found out that like Franklin wanted to shut it down and make toys or something.
Yeah, he wanted to change the business model.
Yeah, he wanted to convert it.
Yeah, so you resolve Reyes's arc that way. Like you get them to print, because there's that one nosy reporter, and you get her to print an article in the paper about that it wasn't his dad who set the fire. You know, like everything does loop back on itself. Ray, how does Ray's arc resolve? I'm trying to remember exactly how hers resolves. At the moment, I can't remember. Hers is the only one I can't remember right now.
Yeah. So remember, you get Dolores to talk to Franklin, Ransom shit talks, Reyes clears his dad's name.
Yeah. And I mean, like Franklin's is the one that you resolve by talking to Dolores, and Dolores is, because Dolores is basically the main character, right? Like she's the unofficial kind of main character.
Yeah.
Because at the end, it's all about she's the only one that could figure this out. Like, you know, Chuck says that, you know, and her arc is basically resolved by shutting down the computer. And so when you go into the original computer.
Yeah. So before you go there, while you first get to Chuck and you're shutting down him, he says, you have to go to the original Kickstarter.
That was brilliant. Like I loved that. So in order to progress, you have to go out of the game and watch the original Kickstarter video.
Yes.
Clue. Bro, like I thought that part was absolutely brilliant. I loved
Yeah.
it. If you look up comments, like if when I it's on Steam, like if you hit Shift Tab, it'll bring up Steam overlay, and you can go to the discussions and everything.
Mhm.
And a lot of the discussions in there were all saying like, I love that the game like just breaks the fourth wall and says, yeah, like go out of the game, go watch
Yep.
the original Kickstarter video.
Mhm.
You know, you'll get the clue to progress. And I really love that they did that.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
That was brilliant. So you end up you now you can't fast travel at this point in time, but you have to walk through the entire town in the original like vector graphics, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. And you walk through that, and you have to walk through to exactly where you are and basically do the same thing again, and that kills it. So I mean, I guess the metaphor is that you have to cut everything off at the root. And it started on Kickstarter. That would be the root. Cut it there. And that's how Thimbleweed Park ends.
Yeah, and it's not how I thought it was going to end. Like
Me either.
I definitely didn't see that, but you know, it's a weird ending.
Yeah.
It's a very weird ending.
So
I found it satisfying.
Now you weren't here for the Moonlighter discussion, but motherfucker, these games have some shit in common.
Yeah, I think it's an ending that a lot of people wouldn't like because
100%.
it's weird, right? It's, you know, you've deleted the game, you find out that none of it mattered. The whole thing was a simulation, and it's strange. And I get that kind of creative choice will not appeal to a lot of people, and I would understand why. I enjoyed it because for me, it wasn't about the ending. It was about the conclusion of all the arcs, concluding those stories. And I enjoyed where everybody left off. And I like that you have to resolve everything before you can end the game.
Yeah. Plus, it really is a good journey too.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a great journey. And you know, for a lot of games, like it's always about my. You know, I'm gonna make a Mass Effect reference. So
I might get that.
A lot of people were furious with the ending for 3.
No, were they?
And for me, like I don't know how they would have ended it in a way that made everybody happy. Like after, I mean, I absolutely love that series, but for me, when I thought about the games, it wasn't about like the ending of 3. It was about sitting on top of the Citadel with Garrus and, you know, all the choices I'd made along the way. That was what I took from it, right? And so, in a lot of ways, Thimbleweed's the same. It wasn't about the ending. It was a strange ending, but
yeah,
it's a strange game. And
yeah,
so I thought that it fit with the game. Like I didn't think it was out of character for the game. And so for those reasons, I enjoyed it. But I suspect a lot of people who play will find the ending non-satisfactory.
Well, I don't know about unsatisfactory, but I will say that like if my sensibilities for any sort of art in my life were framed by blockbuster movies or TV exclusively, I would be pissed that it wasn't wrapped up in a way that I can understand.
Sure.
Now, thankfully, and I'm saying this for myself, I'm not formed by those things, or at least not as much as I've been formed by other things. And I really appreciated this arc, mainly because of like in the past year, like I've watched Twin Peaks again. I haven't watched The Return, but I have watched the original 1 and 2 and Firewalk with Me. And I actually watched Neon Genesis Evangelion when it came out. And basically the end of those things, I had the same statement that you just had about Thimbleweed Park. Like, I can totally see why people would not be satisfied with this. I could totally see why people would have tons of problem with this because it's weird, but it was already weird.
Yeah.
There was never in any part of these particular references that I'm making did they say we're going to make this normal. Did they say we're going to explain this? It's just weird. And I think that the care taken into this game is just as important, and it was taken just as seriously as it was in Twin Peaks and in Evangelion. I mean, I can already think of like several films from a director that I really love, Luis Buñuel. Like he did surrealist, weird shit, and it wasn't. Well, no, he did a ton of weird shit, but like there are a couple of films that I'm thinking of, Exterminating Angel and Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie, that are kind of cut from the same cloth, but no, the central motive is never explained, and it doesn't really have to be. And while I think that Thimbleweed Park going, well, it's a video game, so it is important, falls very much in line with the surrealist nature of those films. Like Exterminating Angel is about a party that no one can leave. Now, there's nothing keeping them in the party. There's no barricade, and there's also a scene where it addresses its own absurdity, where cops are outside the party trying to get people to come out, and a child walks towards the door and then just inexplicably turns and runs. Not because anything scary. He's like, no, I'm not doing this. And even in this film, they're like, why don't we just go for the door? And then someone goes, don't you fucking dare. No real motive, no real reason why, but they're just like, no. And then in Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie, it's about these 5 individuals that are always trying to sit down and eat, but they never actually eat.
Have you ever seen that Star Trek episode where Data and Picard get stuck in a bar or restaurant that they can't leave?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
it's very much like that.
Yeah, that's the kind of vibe. As you're saying this, that's the kind of vibe I'm feeling.
And I think that this game is sort of going for that. Like, this is a crime that you can't really be solved.
Yeah.
This is a redemption arc that you kind of get, but it really doesn't happen. And I appreciate that. And it's like that, looking back on it, that really made me say, I'm glad we did this game. I know Jason may disagree because point and click.
Hey, now cool. I know.
Huh?
Hey, now I know.
What do you mean?
I don't really like them.
And knowing is half the battle, sir.
Well, you know what? I didn't finish, but I played Deponia.
Okay.
I don't know if they're all on PS4. I played one on PS4.
There's 2 of them on there. They're like notoriously easy trophy, quick play.
That's probably why I started it, but I didn't finish it because it's pointing. But my point is, I think I like that. I enjoyed that better because for lack of the writing on the screen with Thimbleweed, I felt that was the distraction to me. Deponia, okay. There's no like pick up, look at. Like it's all just built into kind of. It's
all just like you press A or whatever, and it's there.
Right, when you pick up the item, you have the option then pick up, drop, put here, put there, versus it being. I think that was somewhat distracting to me. Mm-hmm. I think the speed of it, it's too slow for me, in a sense. I'm not saying like it's just the whole stop and like because I did enjoy from what I played of Thimbleweed, I enjoyed the character Reyes and Ray. Like there's the one scene with Reyes when he goes into the Quickie Mart, the bathroom, and he kicks if you like tap the toilet paper, he keeps saying like, "Oh, this is super absorbent," but like he'll like take a piece, but then if you push it again, he goes, "Oh, this is super absorbent." Or he says something. He just says the same line.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I just wish I could have enjoyed playing through 'em more. I just couldn't get beyond it just wasn't. So I enjoyed the story at least. I will admit it's had a great story from what I saw, but just the genre is not really for me.
And that's fine.
I love puzzles. It's just maybe it was maybe because I couldn't do it at my own pace in a sense. I mean, I could if I kept clicking, obviously,
Right.
but
Well, even on that note, like, because when I had told Phillips that I'd beaten it, he's like, "Man, you make me feel stupid with how quickly you beat it." And like, I also think that like Phillips, like as he has said, um, he sort of took time with like all the dialogue options. Whereas once I figured out what needed to be done, I just did it. Like, and so I can 100% say that there are chunks of this game that I missed. Not necessarily because it was misplaced out of the way, but it was because I found my objective and went for it. Like that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like modern games now, they put a cutscene in front of you. And you have to you either skip that cutscene or you don't. And I think that's an interesting relic of the point and click adventure game where like you can miss exposition and not really understand what just happened, but you've opened the door to progression, so you just go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was what propelled me getting through it quickly. And while I think if I were on Phillips's side of this, I'd be like, man, you missed some good story chunks. Because I'll bet you there's plenty that I missed that if we were to actually like go through it with a fine tooth comb, which I'm glad we don't really do that here. I would probably be a little regretful, but
I mean, it's all about how you enjoy consuming games, right?
sure.
There's some people who, okay, I've said before I really like Naughty Dog. So when Uncharted 4 came out, I was waiting for it for years, and I saw some people blow through it like in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And, if that's how you want to do it, that's fine. But for me, here's something I've been waiting for a long time. For me, it's not appealing to blow through it in the shortest amount of time possible. It's not satisfying.
Get good, bro.
And so it's just not satisfying for me. So that's one of the reasons that I take a long time. I take a long time with every game, but that's one of the reasons that I took a long time with this game, just because I wanted to. I was enjoying it, and so I enjoy going through all of it and seeing everything there is, all the conversations, looking at all the books, picking up all that stuff. So again, that's the game. I like that the game lets you play. If you wanted to play it the way you played it, you can. If you wanted to play it the way I played it, you can, right? And we each had a positive experience, and we played it differently. Like, we had considerably different playtime lengths. So I appreciate, where Moose was saying it's accessible. It's definitely a very accessible adventure game. I like a lot of the really obtuse ones, like the later Gabriel Knights. But if you don't like adventure games, you will despise those. Because some of the puzzles, I think it's Gabriel Knight 3 has a puzzle that like it's almost impossible to solve it without a guide because it makes no sense. Like this game was very accessible.
And you were, I will want to say, I just want to interrupt and say you were right that all of these puzzles had some semblance of relevance to what was happening.
Yeah.
Either recently in the story or on screen.
Yeah.
So continue.
Yeah, they make no, it's okay. Yeah, they make sense. Like it's just can't remember what we were saying. But yeah, like I took my time with it, and I'm glad I did.
Mhm.
But it's not an attempt to say you did not enjoy it or you didn't have fun with it because you didn't
Sure.
spend as much time with it as I did. No, I think it's just how it's all about how you want to play it, right? I mean, I'm not saying you should go through Witcher 3 in 20 hours like Jason did, but if you can if you want to. You might have a different experience than I did, but
Well, what's funny is like I'm not a speed runner by any means. Like, yeah, I did 28 hours Witcher 3. Speed runner record's probably like 4 hours or something stupid. But I find like even if I watch a Twitch streamer playing a game, I can't stand when they read what's on screen because I've already read it, and it like I just want to move faster. Like Moose knows what I'm talking about. Like they come across some like dialogue and they have to read it's like, all right.
Yeah. Like some streamers I watch do that, and some of them will do like a funny accent, so it's
it's entertaining.
You know, and it's entertaining, and like sometimes like they do that. I think more so for the people that like can't be watching the whole time.
Yeah.
So, like if they start doing the funny voice and whatever, they're like, oh, he's reading something that's on screen, so you know, like I'm not missing anything or whatever.
But
and to be fair, Jason, you were not far off. Any % speed run on Witcher 3 is 2 hours, 58 minutes, and 22 seconds.
Damn.
Jesus
You could do it.
No, you could do it. I mean, I when I did it, quick aside, I did all of what is it? What's the first village? White Orchard? No. What's the first?
Orchard?
Yeah, I did 100% that zone. After that's when I kind of, but it was just funny. I was thinking the last game I reviewed before Arafel was Luna the Shadow Dust, which was a puzzler, and one of my critiques was there's no dialogue, there's no text, there's nothing, and I felt at times you had trouble figuring out. But then a point and click adventure like Thimbleweed Park, which is all about text based almost.
Mhm.
I almost wish there was less so I could have moved faster through it at my breakneck speed.
Right.
So it's like, but that's how I play games. Like that's what I want versus, because like I've made it clear to you guys, I don't think this is a bad game. It's just a bad game for me.
Right. Well, okay. So before we get to final thoughts here, like do you see like your taste adapting at all, or like, and I'm not asking like with Thimbleweed Park, but like if a game is presenting differently, do your needs change, or do you adapt to that?
I think I can adapt. I like playing what I did of this. I think I can actually go back to Deponia without I'd like to see continue with that without the, like I said, the text on the screen in Thimbleweed for some reason bothered me. Okay. I don't know why. I didn't need it there. Like, look at, pick up. Like, there were a few things on PC that were automated. Like, if you went to a door and held down, I think it was right click. You can correct me, Matt. You would open the door. That would be automatic. You didn't have to go to open and then click it again. So I don't know if other things were automated at time or if it remembered choices.
Like this style, the reason it's like that is because that's exactly how Maniac Mansion was.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's made in the style of his 80s games, right? So that's why it has that kind of stuff. Like I felt that in the later LucasArts it was much more modernized, you know. But that's why this one is it's so kind of dated in that way, is because that was Maniac Mansion was Ron Gilbert's like baby, right? And so that's why it's like that. That's why it has like the pickup, all the actions you can do, right? That's exactly why it's like that. Which I get. Again, I get why you don't like point and clicks. I get why that wouldn't appeal to you. But for old school adventure game players, I think a lot of us enjoyed that bit of nostalgia.
Yeah, but I do think, well, game club's a great idea because I probably wouldn't have tried if I watched the video on this beforehand. Definitely wouldn't even think to purchase.
Yeah.
But like I mentioned, the Luna the Shadow Dust, that's a point and click puzzler. But it's different because it's not text based. It's just about the puzzles.
Have you looked up our next game?
I actually started it. I'm good with that.
You like because that's an adventure game, kind of.
Yeah. So it's the specific. I think it's how
it's presented to you.
Yes.
How it's like roguelikes.
The UX here is very like it can be off-putting to people.
Right.
And I think what kept me from going back to Day of the Tentacle for so long was the UX. But then I eventually just said, you know what? Maybe I should stop thinking about. And this is what I'm about to say, Jason. This is not at you. This is all just my own experience. What got me through Day of the Tentacle was I need to stop thinking about what I want from this game. I got to start thinking about what this game actually is and operate on its terms. And had I not played Day of the Tentacle earlier this year, I would have been kicking and screaming my way through this game. And I'm glad that playing Day of the Tentacle made me able to enjoy this as much as I did. Like I said earlier, though, if I had played this on Switch like I did Moonlighter, I would be like, screw that platinum, I'm not doing that. But before we get too far into announcing the next Game Club game, which I'm excited for, Moose, I'm going to have you kick off a little go around the table. Final thoughts here on Thimbleweed
I
Park.
enjoyed it. Was good. Puzzles were good. I like the accessibility of it. I love the X-Files. I kind of tapered off before like the last couple seasons, and then obviously they brought it back for a while. But like earlier X-Files, like I used to love the stories, that they were telling and whatnot. And so this has a really good vibe. And I think it had a really good art style, had a good narrative. Like you were saying, all the characters are lovable, or the main characters, I should say. So
fuck those assholes in the ThimbleCon, though, right?
Yeah, they were well with Ransom, yeah. But but I feel
the two other guys, I think they were both named Corey. Fuck them. They were insufferable.
Yeah. So I think if you're looking to play a point and click game that's accessible, or you're looking to get into the genre, like this is a good entry point, I feel. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I did not play it a second time to get the platinum yet, because you have to play it on easy, but I got a little monkey on my back called Animal Crossing. So
that is next to the monkey on your back called Division 2?
No, not really, because we've discussed that.
Both of which are sitting on the hump of your back called Bloodborne?
No. I haven't gone back to Bloodborne in a while. I have not I didn't play it this week. Play it this week.
That's just because I said it now. You're gonna play it tomorrow. You watch.
No. But anyways, so yeah, it's a good game. I highly recommend checking it out. And it's a very, very doable platinum.
Mhm.
So if you like to play your games on PS4 for platinums or even achievements, shout out to Xbox with your ridiculous achievement system. But if you like to earn stuff like that, it's a good game to just get in, have a good time with, experience a good story, and not be offended by like, oh, I gotta grind this many kills out of this, or I did, like you and I were talking about the Streets of Rage 4 Platinum, where you have to 5 million total
Yeah. You have to
points.
S-rank everything on
damage.
hard.
I'm like, oh, this is ridiculous. But anyways, yeah. So I highly recommend it.
Speaking of that, I unlocked some retro characters. I'll tell you how to do that later.
Nice. But I do want to point out real quick, like I mentioned the phone and like you could call people. Like there are like I looked it up after beating the game, but like you can there's ones that they're like you should call this number. You should call this number and just listen to them. And yeah, a lot of them were really funny. Like even the ones that, like I said, the ones I listened to organically, but then like there's a bunch out there that were recorded just for the game to make a joke.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
I think you could call like Gary Winnick's number.
Yeah.
And then, but I don't think Gilbert or Tim Schafer have one.
No, they don't have it. They don't.
I feel like that's probably better because I feel like I don't know why, because I don't remember reading this, but I feel like there's bad blood between them.
I wouldn't know.
And see, I don't either. I feel like there is, and maybe I'm manufacturing that in my head. I'm not here to set up the Gilbert versus Schaefer beef, but for some reason I think that, and I hope they're not. I hope there's no bad blood because those guys are both awesome. And I don't.
It's 2025. What started this fight? I don't know.
Fucking
Some podcast named Story Around Zero, the Game Club. How's this shit?
I just needed a reason to hate you.
And I finally have it.
Yeah.
This podcast where only one of the hosts listens to it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to hang my hate hat on, Schaefer. So Phillips, final thoughts.
I loved it. Again, it's the kind of it's the genre that I like. I thought that within that genre, it is a very good game on its own. That could appeal to people who don't necessarily play these games. I mean, if you hate this kind of game, then no, it's not going to change your mind. But I personally loved it. I thought it was a great game. It was one that I kind of saved for a long time to play because, even though it is a genre I love, I saved it for, a rainy day. And so given the events going on right now, it seemed like a good time to play it. And
instead of the rain, you got a plague, son.
And so, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. And I'm glad we all agreed to do it. I regret that we didn't all enjoy it, but I'm glad that we got a chance to talk about it.
I echo all of that. I think that the references here are very good. The source material that it sort of like, okay, hang on. I said the references are very good. Source material that it's referencing is very good. I was about to just say the same thing twice. And yet I did it anyway. This is a very good point and click adventure game. And I feel like my experience, it uses the archaic point and click adventure style really, really well. And the visuals are very much depicting a time and place that are not now. I mean, I think that the possibility of folks coming to this game sight unseen, I think the easy thing would be like, oh, it's pixel art, it has to be an indie game, because there's still a lot of that in this world. But I like the fact that it uses its pixel art to depict a time rather than an aesthetic. Because you look at pixel art games like Blasphemous, Shovel Knight, and they use pixel art very, very well. But that's like they're aiming at a modern thing rather than Thimbleweed Park that is definitely going for old school and aiming at the 80s as its inspiration. And this game was fun. I do think that Jason's criticisms of it are warranted. But if you are as schooled in the genre as Matt Phillips is, like, the praise is warranted as well. It's a weird balance. But like Philip said, I'm glad we did this, and I'm glad we got to talk about it. And I really like the fact that we came together as a crew and said, hey, let's do this once a month so we can at least talk about the same thing and get our own sort of experiences with it out, because fuck, that can be fascinating, y'all.
Oh yeah, no, because like I could say I need to finish the Uncharted series, but like there's no, like, I keep saying it, but with this it's like, oh, this month's game is this. So I didn't finish this one, but it got me to play it versus like I would have never played this otherwise. So it kind of got me to play it and talk about what I did play and listen to what you guys talked about from your experience, which wouldn't happen with, like, I know I have to play Uncharted. I know it's, a lot of people love the series. I know people hate it, but like, there's nothing like, I'll get to it. This kind of pushed that.
Well, and I also think that, like, I know that this, one of the main stipulations that we sort of put here is like, we all have to finish the game. But if it were a situation where you're just not having a good time, I'm not going to say, hey, you bang your head till you finish it, because that's counterproductive.
You eat your meats and peas.
Well, right, because I agreed with you at the beginning, like, we should finish it. But like, I started, like, I revisited at least 7 times.
Yeah, and
I got like through 3 acts, so it's not like I act 1, like, I didn't even get out of the off the trail. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you just...
I took the Polaroid. Now I'm good.
I didn't even see the guy get murdered. I'm out. But no, I think there's always going to be a certain give and take with completion of these games, but at least we can, if we can come together and bring things to talk about, especially if some of us are completing it and think it's worthwhile. I'm glad to talk about this, because I like experiencing the same thing differently through other people's opinions. Also, let's talk about what we've got next. As Philip said earlier, it is an adventure game. It is more recent than Thimbleweed Park. I believe it is 2018.
Yes, 2019 on some.
2019 on consoles,
but
2018
on PC.
It is from the developer of Papers, Please. It is Lucas Pope's Return of the Obra Dinn. And it is a game I have wanted to play ever since I started hearing about it. And I am glad we get to play it for our next Game Club episode, which, if we look at the calendar real quick, my fingers are not working correctly. It will be
June 1st.
June 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So June 1st, if you're listening, come back for Return of the Obra Dinn. We're going to spoil the fuck out of that game. And I'm going to tell you right now, the cat did it.
Yeah.
I'm probably wrong. I'm just guessing. I have that in my pool. So I think we're good to get out of here. Anybody else have anything to say?
No, just give the game a chance. The
Mhm.
work is it's a good time.
It's my favorite John Lennon quote. All we are saying is give the game a chance. I couldn't even keep a straight face.
Goose, you want to take us out?
Yeah, please.
Bye.
At Story Route Zero, we have some cool friends who do some cool things, and I'd like to tell you about them. Phoenix Overdrive uses the power of games and gamers to help heal sick kids through the charity Extra Life. Phoenix Overdrive fundraises for Children's Miracle Network hospitals all year, every year, and the fund culminates in a 24-hour gaming marathon. Find out more about their events and projects online via Facebook at facebook.com/Phoenix Overdrive or on Twitter and Instagram at PHX_Overdrive. You can also join the Facebook group of Pawn Stars at facebook.com/groups/PO Nation in order to share and discuss all the latest in nerd culture. They've also got a podcast, Nerd Overdrive, which you can see weekly at youtube.com/Phoenix Overdrive. You can also catch it on Facebook Live or twitch.tv/PHX_Overdrive. That podcast is also published on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. You want merch? They got merch. Merch can be ordered from tinyurl.com/PHXOD merch, a portion of which goes to their fundraising efforts. Join the nation and be a hero to sick kids, as El Capitan Rey Osorio, Lee the Maestro, and Becky, the lovely queen of the guild, always say, #Rise Above. This has been an episode of Story Route Zero. Thank you for coming along on this journey. We sincerely hope you enjoyed yourself as much as we enjoyed having you. Once again, you can find everything we do at StoryRoute0.com. Hit us up on Twitter at StoryRoute_0, or you can email us at StoryRoute0@gmail.com. If you'd like to hit us up individually anywhere, you can find Moose at Sven, that's SVHENN, everywhere on social media. That's PSN, that's Twitter, that's Instagram. You can also find him on Twitch, streaming games. You can find Jason Marshall at GimpyJ, with 2 Y's at the end. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Twitch, and he also has a website called whereisthepausebutton.com. Captain Canada is the only Story Route Zero exclusive. He's the only one you can only find right here on the show. As for me, I'm Infinite_Rewind everywhere I'd like to be. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's PSN, and Twitch. I also have my own website, InfiniteRewind.com, where I do all sorts of weird writing and rambling. Check us out at all the places. And remember, you are always welcome, and you will always have a seat waiting for you on this ride. But for now, it's back to the real world for us. We will see you on the next one.